Why the hell do you micromanage? This is a topic that drives me crazy. Every time, today, I saw a business owner and he was like, "Oh, Alex, I can't delegate. I can't trust people, so I have to micromanage them." And I'm like, I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna slap you in the face. This is too bad. If you are a business owner and you want to scale your business, you don't have a choice. The only way to do it is to hire people. Breaking news: if you act in the real economy where you produce stuff that you ship to people, where there is like physical goods like this keyboard, bam, you have to rely on people, and for that you need to be a great leader. And so I'm sorry to break it down for you, you can't be a great leader if you micromanage people. It's impossible. That doesn't work. You have to find a way to get out of your obsession about control and start trusting people to execute the work. And so you do that through great hiring and through great training. In the end, it's all about, are you a great delegator or are you not? Are you great in creating systems of delegation or are you not? That's as easy as it is. If you want your painting business to scale from just serving your little community to serve the whole city or the whole region, well, you need people to do their stuff and not be on their shoulders. Because at some point, being a micromanager on everyone's is going to be too time consuming. You won't have enough hours in your day to say what to do here, what to do there. So this is what I'm talking about. You have this matrix. Is your activity a high value impact activity? Okay, this is something either you should or you give it to your A player. Why? Because in this range, this quadrant, it's high impact value, so it's something that really brings a lot of money, so it's worth your time. And then there's the high QA factor. High QA factor, as we said, is high complexity, uncertainty, ambiguity. So if it's something that is very complex, you can't really define a specific a standard operating procedure for it, and it's a high value impact, keep it. Like, that's okay. That's the only thing you as an owner, you as the director of operations, you as someone who executes should keep. You give it to your A players and your owners. And this is how you allocate your best talent. And for the rest, you have all the other options. And you are not limited by the amount of supply of A players. And you, a boss, like, you think you're a genius. Breaking news, you're not. You have to focus on that single question about the who, not the how, because you can't do everything. So give yourself a break and start to think about, okay, other high value impact activities that you can delegate to either your customers or even your partners. Last week, I went to a bank and I went to the counter and I was like, I want to open an account with you. And they said, oh, you have to do it through a phone. I'm like, okay. But then on the phone, they said, oh, you can do it through internet. So what happened? For an hour, I did my own application. Nobody did. I did. Like, if you told me 20 years ago that I would be doing the bank's clerk work, I would be like, come on. Like, but now, honestly, it was actually fine. It was a great experience because they designed the solution, they designed the interface that was very convenient. And so then I got my things right on spot. So if the banks do it, you can do it too. The banks usually are dinosaurs. So if you don't do that within your business, you're even a bigger dinosaur. So, and to do that properly, you need usually an SOP and a system to do that. So this is where comes the point of a choice. Either you invest in standard operating procedures and a system that helps you delegate the work, or you stay prisoner of your operations and your limited time and your micromanagement forever. But that's not the only one. There's also a lot of low value impact work that happens in your company, and it can be very complex with high variability, very, very high complexity, or not. So what do you do? In that case, you delegate to low cost departments. Either it's an internal department. You can also have people working for you who are not geniuses, who are not A players, but that's fine because you don't need that. The cost of a mistake isn't that high because the value of the work isn't that high. So just hire someone to whom you give the guidelines and you say, listen, just do it. And if they're good. You'll have someone that you'll be able to nurture into become an A player if you give them the right environment. So if you want to know how to do that, there are specific books called high output management that shows you that as a leader and as a manager, you have only two things that you can control: is the amount of competency of your talent that is on the x-axis, and there is the degree of motivation. And if those two things are maximized, the productivity goes up. It's maximum. It's a maximum. So you have to do this, because if you only focus on A players and finding players, you won't have enough blood to support the growth of your company. But there's also another hack. There are virtual assistants. Listen, we are in global economy right now. Talents come from around the world, and there is remote work that exists. So if you want to keep working as a maniac, doing PowerPoint presentation and align some logos, or doing your invoices yourself, or calculating your commissions by hand, good luck for you. Good. But I, as an owner, wouldn't do that. I would hire a virtual assistant. I would explain the process and say, listen, this is good luck. You do that. And then there's low QA factor, low value impact work. Like I say here in this chart, maybe delegate it. There should be another one which is delete it. Why it doesn't exist? Sometimes those stuff shouldn't exist. But things, let's say, that are very redundant, like creating bills. Like your bill is always the same, and you shouldn't be doing it. So try to implement maybe an AI agent who could do that. Listen, right now you have tools like Claude. You go into Claude, you say, generate me an invoice. Generate me an invoice for this amount of work. You put all the numbers, it will give you exactly what you want. Then there's same thing. There's virtual assistants, or again, you can ask, or you can build those portals for your customers and your partners, so they do that work and not you and not your company. So in the end, you don't have to micromanage, because if you do those things properly and you create SOP systems, or you put the right people in the right places, you won't have to micromanage. You can actually focus on the strategy and not being in the operations all day long and not losing your hair. I think your wife will appreciate if you had a little more hair on your head than you currently do. Sometimes it's irreversible, but anyway, got a little bit too excited, had too much coffee today. See you in the next one. Peace.